Block pawns with knights. If your opponent has a passed pawn, block it with the knight. Since even if the knight moves, it will still be guarding the square it has left. For example, if the pawn tries to advance, the knight can hop back or sideways to stop it. Centralize your king. In the endgame where there aren't many pieces left, make sure to centralize your king. Centralizing your king makes it more powerful and able to go to any weaknesses in the board quickly. Create passed pawns. To create passed pawns, you need to trade pawns in a pawn majority. In this position, white can create a passed pawn by trading in a 2-to-1 pawn majority. Paralyze the opponent's knight. If you have a bishop versus knight, sometimes you can completely paralyze the knight. In this position, white is completely winning, not because he is up material, but with this move making the knight completely useless. If the knight was just a square away, it would have been completely even. Blockade the opponent's king. In this position, black is trying to infiltrate this way to get to our pawns. If white plays a random move, black will simply take white's life. So instead, blockade the king with your own king. Now black cannot simply enter the position. Rooks on 7th rank. Rooks on 7th rank means to put a rook on the 7th rank. Because of there being many pawns there, you often get forks or just a dominating position. Support passed pawns with rooks. If you have a passed pawn, then most times supporting with a rook is ideal since it keeps defending the pawn even as it moves along the board. Protect the king. In queen endgames, having good king safety is crucial, as if the queen manages to get to the king, you could get forked or even checkmated. Play a waiting move. In this position, it may seem completely lost for white since white is in zugzwang, but here white has a trick up his sleeve. White can play this small pawn move as a waiting move, making it black to move. Now black is the one in zugzwang, and white wins. Deep freeze. Deep freezing means making the opponent's pawn unable to advance even in a pawn majority. In this position, simply push the pawns to freeze these pawns in place, as if they move you can just promote to a queen. Use flank pawns. If you have a flank pawn, sometimes you can use it as a decoy for pieces to guard while your other pawn advances. Damage the structure. In this position, trading the rooks is beneficial to white as it forces doubled pawns. Doubled pawns are very weak and can be easily targeted by many pieces. Trade correctly. If you are upping material, you should trade pieces, not pawns. As if you removed all the pieces, it would be an easy king and pawn endgame. But if you trade all pawns, then it would just be a draw. However, if you are down material, you should trade pawns. Target weak pawns. Doubled pawns and backward pawns are structural weaknesses that should be your primary targets. Use your pieces to attack these weak pawns repeatedly, forcing your opponent to defend or lose material. Cut off opponent's king. Kings are often the best defenders of passed pawns, but you can stop that by completely cutting the king off from reaching the critical squares. This makes their passed pawns much easier to stop or capture. Look for tactics. Even in simplified endgames with few pieces left, tactics can still decide the game. Watch out for pawn forks where a single pawn attacks 2 enemy pieces, or sudden forks with knights or queens. If you learned something from this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and watch this video on the left.